For our main event guest tonight, we have to bring in the one and only former WBC interim champion, taking fights on short notice, joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada. We know him as La Bala. Brian Mendoza, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. Doing a live show these days, so we have fun on Tuesday nights.
Nice, man. No, that's awesome, man. Love to see it.
So how are you? You just out here like taking fights at the last minute, it seems like?
Yeah, I mean, we got that call. I keep saying I've been calling it the never-ending training camp. So, because I've been like literally at it for the last 2 years. Just trying to, improve my game. Work on flaws, work on the things we needed to improve on in this time, and just become a better fighter. But just waiting on that call. I haven't been on the big stage. In that it was literally March of like 2024. So we're right back here 2 years later, and it was just a perfect stage to get back on, and for like a really good opportunity. The opponent. I know it's last minute, but we were like in talks, to fight later on in the year. So it's already someone I had like on my mind, someone I was looking at, and the opportunity just popped up. Co-main event, for a strap. I think we're fighting for like the WBA gold, and yeah, man, just perfect timing, and we've been working, man. So I've been sparring with tons of people since before I knew that we were gonna get this call. So just staying ready, man, like always.
Is there a difference between Brian Mendoza and normal camp ready and what you've called the never ending camp, where you've been like hungering for a fight?
No, yeah, you're definitely gonna see, like a chip on my shoulder. I'm hungry, man. Like I said, it's been 2 years. I've been trying to line stuff up. Some fights have fallen through, some things have moved, and it's been pretty frustrating. But obviously, I would have liked to, get like a full, like, 6 to 8 weeks to really, just kind of lock in, on one game plan and stuff like that. But I've been getting great work. I've been sparring with, Olympians and, high level prospects and contenders out here. It's just how Vegas is. So like even for the last big card out here in Vegas, when Mario Barrios fought Ryan Garcia, I was actually helping one of the homies get ready on the undercard, and he won his fight. He looked super sharp doing it. So we've literally been at it, and I'm not just like staying ready here in Vegas is kind of different because I'm literally working with high level fighters out here constantly, and I've been looking good against them, and just all the different like styles I've been seeing. So I'm ready for whatever this guy can bring to the table.
In the nicest way that you were trying to skirt around is saying, you're like, if I don't show up like game ready to the gym, I might get whooped on that day with the level that I'm facing.
Oh no, yeah, like the level, like you always have to stay on your toes. Like I've even told people like some of the kids out here can turn pro and do damage like in other states, and because even out here like the kids will come and like put hands on some of these grown men. So yeah, the level out here is crazy just because you get so many different looks, so many like literally from all over the world. Like even for my birthday that passed, I was actually thinking about this because my birthday that passed in February, I was like, getting like, just happy birthdays from people like, Australia, or like all over Europe, Japan. It's just like Argentina, just these, like all over the world. And these are people I've like worked with. I've had work with people from like every corner of the world, and it just kind of made me grateful for the experience I've been able to get, because it's not something you normally like. Normally it's just okay, it's another day in the gym. I'm working with someone, blah blah. But when I kind of sat back to think about that, it's like, man, like the experience I'm getting out here is like insane.
You've had this time waiting, trying to formulate a plan. And it feels like almost for Brian, the more you try to formulate a plan and make things happen, each one of these fights has just been like thrown at you at the last moment. That's been the biggest opportunity. It's
Mhm.
just been the willingness to say yes that's kind of opened the doors after all.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of these other guys, they're out there, they're ranked and everything, but they don't stay ready like that. They can't take these fights. And even the guys that aren't like quite up there, but they like, one good fight could, maybe crack that top 10, top 5 for them, but they don't stay ready, so they can't take these opportunities. But I stay in pretty good shape, like I have my abs year round, I don't blow up like that. So it pays off, man. And, it's like it's just all the little details and just taking care of my body, as we go. Like I don't party like that. We're not doing anything crazy, so it helps, man. But yeah, like you said, I've literally built my career off this. The fight that one of my favorite fights of my career that put me on was the against Jason Rosario, and that was literally like I get the call like, hey, there's 9 days till this fight. Do you want to fight this former undisputed super welterweight champion? And I was like, yeah, like immediately because I knew we were ready, and that was one of my performances to this day, my best performances. So it is what it is, man. Like and I've made a career out of it, and I feel like this one is really gonna pay off because I'm actually in better condition than I've been for some of my last fights where I even had like a full camp. So like things are just a lot better. We're just making a lot of different changes. Gonna clean up the style a lot more. So I feel like I'm excited to show a lot more refined version of me.
Not saying it a bad way, but it seems like with this free time, and if you know Brian, he can become meticulous. It sounds like you've had a lot of time to just obsess over your own self.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the actually pretty much the same time from like the last 2 years, I made the switch, to a different trainer out here with Richard Barrientos, and he's had tons of experience working with other champions and stuff like that, and he's been really good with his amateur circuit. Like his kids, like his son just won national silver gloves, and so he's just real good at like the details. Like he doesn't forget the fundamentals because he still has the amateurs, and it's just really like up my game a lot. I've been feeling a lot sharper. I have a jab now that it doesn't go away after 2 or 3 rounds. Like it's a consistent jab, so that's like one of the main things I can say to look out for, and that alone is a game changer. But just tightening things up. But yeah, we've been real meticulous, just doing drills and drills and drills, and just getting better at the sweet science. And not just getting stronger, not just getting like like faster. Not working on those outside things. That comes with it, but just perfecting the actual boxing behind it.
Okay, now you got me really intrigued when you say now the jab doesn't go away. So, is that a mentality, a thought process, a muscle memory through sparring to being forced to be doing it in those later rounds? Like, what is the recipe then to keeping a weapon that's there in your arsenal early that you kind of just leave in the box later?
Yeah. Yeah. No, like you kind of like hit the nail on the head with muscle memory. We've definitely worked it. There was days that, like I said, I've been working at this for the last 2 years with this new team, and it's just there's days where like I've done 12 rounds of just jabs, and really working that, and like just working only like the lead hand, and just really specifying it to drills. And I like like they say, drillers make killers, and I really feel like that's going to be the case. So a lot of stuff is refined, but yeah, just muscle memory because we've been repeating it over and over and over again, just really solidifying all those fundamentals.
A tough fighter ahead of you. Of course, it's a
Mhm.
Cuban fighter, Yoenis Telles, 11-1 record. Guy has a lot of knockout wins. Who doesn't at this stage of the game?
Right.
But in particular, about him, what do you feel has made him successful to this point?
He's Cuban, like actually from Cuba, so he's got like a good base as well. But I don't think he's got the same extensive amateur record like the other guys do. But they've been trying to kind of push him, but he actually lost the interim title to someone that he wasn't supposed to lose to. They were kind of trying to get him not a tune-up fight, but like a solid fight, and then to walk into to that next fight. I think he was supposed to be fighting Xander Zayas, but the guy that took the interim title off of him ended up getting that fight, and they fought for a unification fight. And it's just I just don't see the why they were pushing him the way they were, and I still see flaws in his game. When he lost that fight, I saw a lot of things that I could personally take advantage of. And even in his comeback fight, he had a comeback fight tune-up against a 147 pounder that they brought up to 154 to try to make him look good. But I feel like in even that fight, like I feel like I feel like I see fear in him, like when he's in there, because he did not look sharp against that guy, and that was a 147 pounder who I can also say kind of looked kind of scared, because he was out of his weight class against, like you said, in there with someone with so many knockouts. But when I'm in there, I've proven I've been in there with the best in the division, and there's never a moment where you like I even look scared. At least I don't think so, but where I think the mentality is going to be like one of the biggest differences. So he's sharp, he is good, he switches a lot of things up. He's got that Cuban base behind him, but I just see a lot that I can take advantage of.
I guess to get derogatory, it sounds like you're alluding to you might have more of a dog in you. Like you might like to fight more, just straight up.
Mhm. Oh no, absolutely, yeah. I'm from Albuquerque, bro. Like, you know what that is. So, we definitely had that, and I've shown that in certain fights, where like I kind of end up in the pocket. We start going at it, and I don't think he can take it to that place. I feel like that's literally why he lost the interim title that he had, because the guy was just swarming him, just like all over him, and he could not get him off him, and he just I feel like I saw give when he was in that fight. And then, like I said, even in his comeback tune-up fight, I don't think he looked too hot. So I feel like there's mentally things I could take advantage of.
How big do you feel that the international experience, going to Australia, the Fandora fight, like that the big opportunities have now conditioned you where we're looking at a fighter that you said stumbled in a fight he was supposed to win, 12 fights in. I wonder psychologically if there might be some pressure on the young man here that you've already had to deal with in these big
Mhm.
moments.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've definitely have more experience than him in the pros, because because of the opponents I've been in there with. I've traveled the world, and for title fights and stuff like that. And yeah, he hasn't been in as deep as waters as I have. So yeah, I feel like there's that's definitely a big factor of it for me, that he doesn't have the same experience, and that he's gonna feel that type of pressure, especially in this fight. Like he's it's another fight. Like I'm sure they might have him as the favorite. I know he's listed on the A side or whatever. So we'll see. But regardless, that's never mattered to me. I've been in there with undefeated champions, and it didn't make a difference to me. So it's something I know that when I'm in there, I'm gonna be calm. I'm gonna be at home because that's where I belong. And I don't think he's gonna feel the same way.
Looking up the betting line real quick. Now you drew my interest.
Yeah, I was just surprised, because they were saying once they posted, it's been Tellez versus Mendoza, and I was like, okay, like that's cool.
Oh
You
yeah,
think?
he's minus 215. You are plus
Mhm.
156 to plus 200.
Okay.
I can bet on boxing. That's cool for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey
Yeah.
guys, we're not telling you to do anything. I'm just suggesting here that's a
Right,
nice betting
right.
line for us.
Yeah, no, man. I feel like, honestly, like I feel ready for this one, and I'm really, my trainer. I really believe in him, and he's putting together a game plan. He really studies and gets behind this stuff, and just as a team, I feel like everything's coming together, and everything has been lining up for me. And I was feeling sharp in camp and everything, and now it's just obviously, cutting the weight and everything, but just sharpening up. And I really feel like this is going to be another, just like when I fought Jason Rosario, it was a short notice, and, kind of feeling to save the day on the card, but, try to steal the night as well.
Couple more minutes with Brian Mendoza, and then we see Alistair McDonald. He's in the studio. We're going to bring him in next to close up the show, talk about Fight World 43. Couple more questions with Brian, then we'll bring in Alistair. How crazy has it been for you trying to navigate everything with PBC, now with Amazon Prime, not as noisy as they've been, everyone else slowly falling in line now as a top ranked this week with the news that they've ended up also with DAZN like everyone else. And then there's this new thing with Zuffa Boxing. How much
Mhm.
has that been like a relearning process of what this jungle looks like for you trying to navigate as a free agent?
Oh, I mean, it's been difficult, but I've stayed loyal. I've been with the team, Luis Secubas Jr. on the PBC side, Al Heyman, because like I was grateful of the opportunities that they have given me, and I needed something that like would come along, but being honest, it did definitely test my patience. Like I wasn't getting like the right opportunity. After waiting all this time, and yeah, like now in March, like I said, March is 2 years. So we've literally, been waiting, waiting, waiting. But I also took it as a blessing in disguise, because I was able to develop a lot of things in the gym that I was missing before. So, I did have time to kind of get better. And like I said, pretty recently, everything finally really started to come together where it's, almost second nature. So all the drills are paying off. But man, outside of that, it was just, just playing the waiting game because with PBC, yeah, that's what it is. They give you great opportunities, but sometimes when things slow down, like now, you do kind of have to wait a little bit. But that's also a lot more motivation I bring into this next fight because I'm gonna be picking up, like I said, I believe it's the WBA gold that we're fighting for, and that'll get me ranked, top 5, top 3, and once your ranking is back in place, I'll have that leverage and I'll be ready to go. So as far as that, my leverage will be, I'll be picking up another belt like that, have a high ranking, and that's what keeps you busy. That's what gets you that next fight. So you're gonna see the hunger to earn that spot and earn that next big title fight because this should earn me a title fight for the next one out.
In about 20 years, when you're in your 40s and Floyd Mayweather is in his 60s, will you take an exhibition with him?
Oh, absolutely, man. No, yeah. I don't like, the exhibitions like that and stuff, but these guys are making money. I can't be mad at that. So there's a lot of these fights, where like people are hating on, but with their money they're being thrown, like I couldn't say I would say no to that.
It is the prize fighting business, and they're all looking at the prize.
Yeah.
He's Brian Mendoza, always repping New Mexico, living out of Vegas now. Incredible things in the boxing world. A huge fight next weekend. We're excited to see it, champ. Thank you for joining my fight show tonight.
Awesome, man. Always. I appreciate you, man.
Always a pleasure. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah.